She walked into my wedding reception like she belonged there, dressed in white. At my wedding. And the moment my new husband saw her, he went completely pale. That's when I knew. Everything I thought I knew about the man I had just married was a lie. My name is Cassandra. And 18 months ago, I was the happiest woman alive. I had the career, the apartment, the friends, and I had Daniel. Daniel was the kind of man who remembered your coffee order, who left little notes on the bathroom mirror before your big presentations, who slow danced with you in the kitchen on a Tuesday night just because. He was thoughtful. He was present. He was everything I had ever prayed for. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue 3 years before our wedding. He spilled lemonade on my dress, turned beet red, and spent the rest of the afternoon apologizing in the most adorable, rambling way. I was gone for him before sunset. We dated for a year and a half before he proposed on a rainy evening in Central Park, with a ring he'd been saving up for quietly for months. I said yes before he could even finish the sentence. The wedding planning was a dream. Small, intimate ceremony. 50 guests. Wildflowers. String lights. A venue outside the city with old wooden beams and big open windows. But there was always one small thing that sat uneasy in the back of my mind. Maya. Daniel worked at a mid-sized marketing firm, and Maya was his co-worker. His work wife, as he laughingly called her the first time he mentioned her name. They ate lunch together most days. They texted about campaign deadlines. She sent him memes. He sent her voice notes when he was stressed. I told myself it was normal. People have close friendships at work. I wasn't going to be that woman. The jealous, insecure fiancé who demanded he cut off a friend. But something about Maya always felt just slightly off-center. He never offered to introduce us. Every time I gently suggested we all grab dinner, there was always a reason it didn't happen. She's busy. The timing isn't right. You'd love her, I promise, just not yet. Not yet. Those 2 words should have been my first red flag. The months leading up to our wedding, Daniel seemed distracted. Not cold, never cold. But somewhere just slightly behind his eyes, there was a door I couldn't open. I mentioned it to my maid of honor, my best friend Priya, and she said what best friends say. He's probably just stressed about the wedding, Cass. Men get weird about commitment stuff. He loves you. And I believed her. Because I wanted to. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was going through the final guest list with Daniel, checking RSVPs, and I noticed something. Did you send Maya an invite? I asked casually. He paused. Just a beat too long. No, he said. She's not really that kind of friend. I remember looking at him, this man I was about to marry, and thinking, what does that even mean? But I let it go. Because I was 27 days away from marrying the love of my life, and I refused to let my anxiety steal that from me. The wedding day itself was beautiful. The wildflowers were perfect. The string lights glowed gold in the late afternoon sun. My father cried when he saw me in my dress. Daniel cried at the altar when I walked toward him. And I thought, this is it. This is everything. We said our vows. We exchanged rings. We were announced as husband and wife. And then we walked into the reception. The room was full of people we loved, family, close friends, people who had flown in from 3 different states to celebrate us. There was laughter, champagne, the DJ playing our song. And then I saw her, standing near the back of the room, by the entrance, in a white dress. Not a soft champagne white, not ivory white. Like a second bride. I didn't know who she was at first. I thought maybe a guest had made a fashion mistake. One of those awkward moments you laugh about later. But then Daniel turned around. And his face drained. Every drop of color. Gone. He grabbed my arm, not gently, and said in a voice barely above a whisper, I need a minute. And he walked toward her. I stood in the middle of my own reception, in my wedding dress, watching my husband walk toward another woman. Priya appeared at my shoulder. Who is that? She asked quietly. I already knew. That's Maya. I watched them for 60 seconds before I walked over myself. I didn't run. I didn't cry. Something in me went completely, eerily calm. As I approached, I heard fragments. Her voice low and urgent, his voice tight with something that sounded like panic. You weren't supposed to be here, he was saying. I needed to see you, she said. I needed you to look me in the eye and tell me you chose this. I stepped beside my husband. Hello. I'm Cassandra, the bride. She looked at me, and her expression wasn't cruel. It wasn't smug. It was something worse. It was grief. And that's when she said the words that rearranged everything. He told me it was over between you two. 6 months ago. He told me you'd called off the engagement. The room didn't go quiet. People were still laughing nearby, glasses clinking, music playing. But inside my chest, everything went absolutely silent. I turned to Daniel. He couldn't meet my eyes. 6 months ago we had hit a rough patch. A few weeks of distance, a couple of hard conversations. We had worked through it. Or so I thought. What Daniel had actually done, while I was picking out centerpieces and tasting wedding cake, was tell Maya that we were done. That he had chosen her. For 4 months, he had been in a relationship with both of us. Telling her the wedding was cancelled. Telling me everything was fine. When Maya had pushed for clarity, when she had asked why he kept delaying their future, he had gone quiet. He had stopped returning her calls. She found out about our wedding through a mutual colleague. She came because she needed the truth. We both deserved it. And we both got it, at the same time. I left my own reception. Not dramatically. I didn't throw anything, I didn't scream. I walked to the bridal suite, sat down on a velvet chair, and I called my mother. The marriage was annulled 4 weeks later. Daniel tried. He called, he wrote letters, he showed up twice at my apartment before I made it very clear that chapter was closed permanently. Maya and this part still surprises people, we actually spoke once, a few months later. Just a short phone call. We didn't become friends. But we acknowledged each other's pain. There was something healing in that, something I hadn't expected. I spent the following year doing the quiet, unglamorous work of rebuilding myself from the inside out. And today, I'm genuinely okay. More than okay, actually. I know myself better now than I did standing at that altar. I've thought a lot about what this story taught me. The first thing is this. When someone keeps 2 parts of their life from ever touching, pay attention. Not every private person is hiding something, but a pattern of deliberate separation is worth a conversation. Second, that uneasy feeling you keep talking yourself out of? That's not insecurity. That's information. I silenced my instincts for 18 months because I didn't want to seem difficult. Trust yourself. And third, and this one is the hardest, sometimes the most devastating endings carry the most necessary truths. I was spared a lifetime with someone who didn't know how to be honest. That's not a loss. That's a rescue. If this story hit you somewhere deep, you are not alone. Drop strength in the comments if you've ever had your instincts proven right in the worst possible way. And tell me, what would you have done in that reception room? If you're new here, welcome to Betrayal Shadows, where real stories get the truth they deserve. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. I'll see you in the next one.